One day I walked into a door.
We wear caps a lot, not because of the sun, but to protect our noses from being broken on lampposts and low-hanging branches of trees. But I went smack into a door and I sat down and I looked out that window just over there, and I realised, probably for the first time, how little I could see. The feeling is actually of being imprisoned in your own body, which is a feeling of sheer panic, because you can't get outside your own body, and you will never get outside your own body. The sadness was in not being able to see my wife, not being able to see my children. I remember my child on her Deb's night. I couldn't see her beautiful dress and how well she looked. And it's still a raw emotion that I won't be able to see grandchildren or weddings, or so much beauty in the world that you're missing. It's really, if one was to describe it, it's really a bereavement, because it's like losing part of your heart. Because if you lose somebody you love or something we love, and probably most of us, the most important sense we have that we love most is our sight. So it's like losing part of your heart. So it's a bereavement process, a sadness process you have to go through. The image I have for adapting is climbing a cliff. I used to do some climbing when I was younger, and your instructor might be at the bottom. You're well hooked on, and you're climbing this cliff, and you're halfway up it, and your legs are like jelly. You can't find a grip anywhere. You look, there's no grips. And your instructor says to you, there are grips. That you're saying, there's no grip. There's grips there. Look again. You'll find grips. And you're convinced there's no grips. But you just relax, you steady your legs, and you start to look. And invariably, you'll find a small grip. Maybe one for your right hand that you can fit a couple of fingers in. Maybe one for your right foot. And before you know it, slowly, you're beginning to ascend the cliff again. When you're in that dark place, you don't know how to adapt, but adaptation comes slowly. It starts with simple things like an iPhone. I didn't need to use Braille. I can speak into my iPhone. I can schedule an appointment. I can surf the web. It'll speak to me. I will speak to it. It is amazing. I can read books, listen to music, listen to podcasts. It's my window to the world.
Messages. One unread message. Messages. Messages. Carl Lennon. Hi Claire. I sent you an outlines of the project, a rough draft of the interview questions, and a very rough MP3 edit to the introduction to the video. Let me know what you think, and if you have any problems accessing them. Carl. 1742. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate.
I remember being in work and my eyes went very odd. I couldn't see properly, and I kind of thought to myself, that's odd, that's not right. I went into the doctor the next morning and it was like, boom, your retinas have detached. I had 6 years of daytime vision and no nighttime vision. So in a way I kind of got used to being visually impaired for half of my day. For the nighttime I couldn't see and I needed a guide dog or a sight assistance, but for the daytime I was quite independent and I could get around no problem. Then when my sight went all together at the age of 24, then it was another bomb. It's like all of a sudden your sight's gone the next day. Well, when I think about a journey that I can compare my sight loss to, my mind wanders to a time when my mum gave me a chain with a tiny little turtle charm on it, and she told me that you will do whatever you want to do in life, but you'll just do it at a different pace or go via a different path than other people might do. And it's kind of like the turtle is slow and steady, but he gets where he needs to go. So that's kind of always what I've thought of when I've come to any challenges or issues that might relate to sight loss or achieving goals, regardless of being blind. I would say my iPhone is like my right arm. I use it for everything, and it's full of useful apps specifically for blind people. One I use every day is Flexi, which is a predictive texting app, which allows you to text extremely quickly with with no mistakes really. It's fantastic. Another app is called Intel Money Reader, which allows me to identify what banknotes I have in my purse. TapTapSee app is a great app that allows you to take a photograph of something you're unsure of, send it off to someone out in cyber world, and they will send you an explanation of what is in the photograph, so it identifies what you need identifying. One coping mechanism I find really useful is black humour. So basically just taking the mick out of myself, or having my friends or other people take the mick out of myself. When I go for medical treatment for my optic nerve, which got damaged, the technician will kind of say to me, "Jesus, Claire, are you blind or what? Look, if I'm trying to pick up something," or "the state of that cut, where did you get it? Were you blind when you got that or what?" I really respond to that a lot better than I would than if someone was giving me sympathy and "Janie, aren't you great?" and that kind of stuff. Although I was quite depressed for a time, I did also take a very pragmatic approach to it. I had a job that I needed to get back to. I was off sick for a few months, and I had very good friends who dragged me out of the house to bring me out and to have a fun time. So I suppose with goals and with people around me, I found it easier to come to terms with. I think my first sign that I could recover from this sight loss for me was my ability to do my job just as well as I had been doing before I lost my sight. Yeah, I was able to perform actually quite well, and I did perform very well in work, and I found that my eyesight had no impact on it, hardly at all. And that was a great sense of empowerment and fulfillment for me. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say my life is a bed of roses and, you know, I'm so inspirational and so brave. I definitely don't think I am those things. I think, you know, you're dealt what you're dealt with in life, and you just have to get on with it. And I think that's really my approach. You know, a lot of things about being blind are, you know, they're very, very difficult. Going out to meet friends takes a huge amount of planning that you wouldn't even think about when you have sight. You can't just kind of stroll out the door. You can't ramble through town just for the sake of it. So it's pretty kind of difficult having to adjust to that kind of a reduction in your freedom in that way. But at the same time, you know, like, you just have to get on with it, and that's really what I feel.
The aspects which make life difficult would be street furniture, cars parked on footpaths, bicycles tied to the railing on top of a low wall, O'Connell Street, where there's only a limited amount of tactile paving, and where the footpath and the road are nearly level with each other. It's very, very dangerous. You can end up on the middle of the street. Things take a lot longer to achieve, whether it be walking to the shop, using a computer. Everything is a marathon when you have a visual impairment. The lowest point of the journey was when I lost my independence. Not being able to go shopping, having to get lifts from my parents everywhere, paying bills, even getting my sisters and family to send text messages and emails. They also had to read post that was addressed to me. The journey is like going through a long tunnel which is dark at first. However, you meet many inspirational characters that show you what is possible and help you realise that there is hope and there is light at the end of the tunnel. I have reached a point in my life that I have accepted my condition and come to terms with it through using assistive technology and also mobility training using the long cane. I now have regained my independence. I can go shopping, I can mobilise on public transport independently, I can send a text message, I can send an email, I can create a Microsoft Word document. I can do most things. I still, however, need to ask for help every so often for the things I can't do. I'm not quite as independent as before, but it is for my own safety. Certain things like carrying shopping causes me balance difficulties, and receiving getting a lift from friends or family simplifies things, makes things easy and much safer for me. When I board a bus, I ask the driver to let me off at a particular stop. Sometimes the drivers are not familiar with the stop, and I have a series of photographs, about 10 of them. And I've got braille stickers attached to the photographs, and they have something like 37O for 37 outbound, Oak Tree Green. So all I need to do with my finger is identify, 37O, then go downwards for O, and I present the photograph to the driver. And particularly many of the foreign drivers who are not familiar with the stop, when they see the photograph, they know exactly what I'm talking about and leave me off at the correct stop. I also use braille on cards in my wallet. I've got numerous cards, everything from Tesco, Dunn's cards, Visa card, bank card, etc. Now, they all feel the same. So I put braille stickers on my cards. So for example, I might have boots, and all I need to do is read the first letter. So I go B, okay, that's boots. Read the next card. It has V for Visa. I don't need to read all the letters. I just need to read the first letters, go through the next one, D for Dunn's, T for Tesco. So I've got a strategy to read cards very quickly. It's a low-tech solution. No batteries required. There is a great sense of self-satisfaction and achievement when you can do things independently for yourself without the help of anyone else. For me, that was when I could mobilise using the long cane, cross the street at a pedestrian crossing, and travel by bus to the city centre. That moment was a full restoration of my independence and a great sense of self-satisfaction.
Yeah, my visual impairment was caused by a brain hemorrhage, a massive hemorrhage that caused pressure onto the optic nerve that damaged it and behind the nerve. And the only picture I can see, all the peripheral vision is gone. It's like looking through a tunnel. And colour is mostly what I see. Trying to picture that, all the colours in the world, you don't realise how colourful everything is. Till that's all that you're left with. And trying to make out figures is the hardest thing in the world. It's not black. I can see a certain amount, but not clearly. And shadows coming in the way and colours coming in the way. That's why when you go into a supermarket, it's a nightmare at times. You never realise how many yellows, greens and reds there's in a shop. And it can actually bombard you. But what I do when that happens is I look down to the floor, take away the colour and come back and trying to refocus. The first time I accepted that it was gone was when it was snowing really heavy. I went out into the snow and there was no colour. It was just, everything was a blanket of white. And I picked up snow all right to throw on. And it's all I could see then was, because the background was all white as well, and the snowball in my hand was just my fingers coming through. And then I realised, oh yeah, this is it. I accepted it then. anything I'm painting, I'd never realised in the beginning that I've a tree of some kind in every picture, because I love trees with a passion. And it was only then it's stuck in a corner somewhere, even if it's in the middle of a mountains, there'd be one tree somewhere stuck. And I was actually told I was earthy, never meaning that, as I said, you come from the ground and reach up and reach out to life. And I paint mostly from memory, but when you're actually painting there, it takes you out of the world, that you're in that picture. And you're painting, you're there. If you've seen a place, it's like you're back there and to see it unfolding on the canvas. It's wonderful. I think it looks marvellous. Someone else would say it's something different. I would say, oh, that's a load of gobbledygosh. But I love it, and I'll continue to do it. I have trouble with iPhones, computers and tablets, all the likes of that. But I have my own way of coping and adapting. And for instance, if I go to the shop, I know how to deal with my money, and it's always cash, because I can't use the bank machines or your cards. Or I go to where I'm familiar, that the people in the shop, they'll tell me where I'm handing them, and what money I'm handing them, and what they're handing me back. So that part is coped with. But getting in contact with my family or anyone like that, I can't use emails or anything, but I have on my phone that speed dial that I can get my husband, daughter or immediate family. So that part I can cope with. But if it's anyone else, it's potluck. I might get the right one, but then if not, I'll just go again, but other than that, I'm coping. Because I'm hearing perfect, as that I'm seeing through mirrors as well, so I've accepted me fate. Yeah, well, you have to accept it, because if you didn't, you might as well lie down and die. And I'm not that type of person. They'll have to shoot me, Then they better have a bloody good aim. Yeah.